A week ago, I posted a video about how I finally got my first job since graduating uni after a very long searching process. And today's actually the Sunday before I'm about to start that job. So tomorrow on Monday will be my first day. And I actually really wanted to film my first week at my job. Well, like I'm not gonna film at my job because I want to be very ethical or professional, but kind of like before I go to work, how I feel when I get back, how the week progresses, how I feel in this new job, how, entering the corporate world, the working world, being a working lady is gonna feel to me because this is all like my first experience of actually having a job. So I thought that would be very interesting and fun to document for myself, but also for other people who are in similar situations or will be in similar situations soon, because I love watching content about people just living their lives, especially if they have lives that are similar to mine. So since tomorrow is my first day, I have to do some things to prepare myself for this first day. A couple of things I have already done, such as getting my nails done, which I actually got done yesterday. It's just like a very wintry design, like a cat eye with some like ice detail, some snow detail. This is like pretty neutral for me. I usually go a little crazier, but during the winter, I don't really have a lot of fun ideas, but this was just also very like professional. Like people there don't know me yet, so they don't know how extra I am, and I need to give them a little bit of time to warm up, right? So that's the first thing that I needed to get done, but I also already did some other things, such as finding a mug that I could use at work for like coffee. And the thing is, this doesn't seem like a hard task because I have a lot of mugs. I collect mugs, but most of them were actually kind of inappropriate. Like I have someone from the olden days from like Urban Outfitters that said like humble with a little hint of Kanye, and that's not something that I want to be promoting anymore at this point. Or like I have one that says, what would Beyonce do? That I was like, maybe that's an option, because like, well, what would Beyonce do? But I just felt like that wasn't professional enough. So then I have this one, which is still like, pop culture. It's Rihanna, work, 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 work. But, I'm taking it to work, 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 work. So that feels very valid for me. Then I also had to find an appropriate drinking bottle to bring to work for water. And once again, I have plenty, but a lot of them just have like very quirky, geeky designs. And I don't know if that's the move right now for my first day. So I just dug out this one. This is actually from Hydrate Spark. I actually got this on the Apple website, and I spent a fortune on this drinking bottle. I think it was about €100, and it like lights up. It's connected to an app, which is then connected to your Apple Fitness, your Apple Health, and it can tell you how much you drank, and it lights up whenever you need to drink or when you have just had a sip of water. It also lights up. This might be a little bit distracting, but I guess we'll find out. I still have to charge this bottle because you have to charge the component that lights up, and then I can take it tomorrow. I think this one is the best one because a lot of the drinking bottles that I have make a lot of noise when you open them, and this one just has a straw, so it's just that. But I have like a metal one, and every time I opened it, it was just like scratching metal sounds, and like I just imagine being in a meeting and wanting to drink water, and your drinking bottle is just screaming, and I don't think that's a vibe, and this one was just nice and easy. I'm also bringing some reusable straws and a straw cleaner for my coffee because I try not to let the coffee touch my teeth, because I don't want to stain them, and I try to avoid things like that as much as possible, also with soda, but it's not always like 100% possible if you don't have a straw. So, I gotta be prepared. I still have to find my lunchbox somewhere, and if you're confused as to why I keep saying I have to find stuff, it's because, as you can see, there are a lot of like moving boxes behind me because I recently moved back from like my dorm apartment to my parents' house, and I just kept a lot of my stuff packed because I wasn't planning on using it soon. But like my lunch boxes that I used during my internship are still in these boxes somewhere, so I just have to kind of like find them and retrieve them. So, I will do that in a second. But one other thing that I want to do right now is kind of like switch over my work bag and show you what's in it. This is my daily bag that I've been using for the past couple of months. It's just like a Coach tote bag, but I'm actually not gonna bring this one to work because I don't think it can fit a laptop. I'm not sure, but I feel like it would just be too stuffed. But I can still see when I get the work laptop how big it is, and I might still end up using this bag. But I want to get a new work bag as soon as I get my first paycheck, but that might take another month or so. So for now, I have to use the bag that I used during my internship, which I know fits a laptop because that's what I purchased it for. And that is this bag by Base, which is Shay Mitchell's brand. I do really like this bag, but I've just used it so much, and I just wanted something new. And I'm also kind of like over the gray color, because it's just a little boring, so I kind of want like a nice deep brown one. I have my eye on one from Base as well because I love Base as a brand. I'm very content about their products, very satisfied with them. This one survived like 2 to 3 years of daily use and it still looks basically new. So I'm gonna switch over to this one for now again. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna put in it. So obviously I have my wallet. This is like a very basic Comme des Garçons wallet that I purchased because it was relatively small and I got so tired of having like a big bulky wallet because it just didn't fit in any of my small purses that this one was like a good size to still keep all of my cards, like all of my loyalty cards and all that, and it's still not taking up too much space. Currently in my bag, I have this pouch that has like a couple of pens, but there's only 3 in them. So I'm gonna put some more in there for when I do actually have to write something by hand. I don't know if I will have to, but probably at some point I will. Even though most stuff happens on the computer these days. I have some pens lying around here. I don't know where they are. Is it here? Nope. I also collect pens. This entire video is me saying that I collect certain things basically. Right, oh, I know where they are. This is where I keep the pens that I use in uni in this little Bretz container, in this little Bretz pouch that was actually for makeup brushes. This is where I keep all of like my favorite pens. So I have this Taylor Swift Fuck the Patriarchy one that I got from my best friend for my birthday, I think, which is actually like the color of the company I will be working for, but maybe it's a little aggressive for at work. I'm gonna put it in there just to be sure. You never know, you never know. Then I'm also gonna take my, like a Parker pen. I love writing with Parker pens and very cutesy. And then a Sigmund Freud pen from the Vienna Museum. Yeah, you know what? I am an organizational psychologist, right? I will also take my big Luke Skywalker pen that I've had for ages. And for now, that's okay. I still have plenty of other ones that I can use at some point. Like I still have this entire Wicked set of big pens that I will be putting in my pen bag at some point. I have this entire pouch of like 4 colored big pens that I collect. Like I have some from Disneyland. I'll put one from my university in there as well. Right, okay. For now, I think that's plenty of pens. I will have to buy some like mini markers or something. If I do have to mark anything, I don't know if I will have to, but I guess we'll see. So that can already go in my bag. I actually love these little pouches. My grandma gets them from like her makeup shop. Whenever she buys her like night creams and stuff like that, she just gets these 3 pouches. And then she gives them to my mom and I. And they're always useful for something. I have plenty of them lying around. So now they can finally be used for something good. Then I have another one of these pouches that just has a bunch of random stuff in it. Like a lip balm, some hair ties, more lip balms, blotting sheets, a sample for a face cream if my face suddenly is really dry, a hand sanitizer from Sephora, a little mirror for if I need to check up on my makeup, a little mini mascara for if I'm ever in a pinch and I need to apply mascara urgently. Probably won't happen, but you never know. We have like a little nose spray in here for if I'm suddenly really congested and I need to fix it. I even have a mini travel size sunscreen for if I forgot to apply it or need to reapply it. And then I also have like a cloth for cleaning glasses or screens or whatever. And you know, just a bunch of stuff you might need at some point. So I'm also gonna put that in my bag. I'm also gonna put a little nail file in there. I do have acrylic nails, but if there's ever like a little jagged piece, then it's very frustrating to have to walk around with it all day. So now I can fix it. Also going in my bag. Then I have my power bank, which is by the brand Trusts. This is a good power bank. It's 10,000 mAh, but I will get a new one soon because I want one that has actual cables attached to it, so I don't also have to bring an extra cable. But for now, this is a good one. It's also not that big, so just if I need to charge something. Then I also have a mini hairbrush for if I need to brush my hair after it's been windy on public transport. Just tiny, easy to carry. Then I also have an umbrella because it rains almost every day in this country. That is just the worst part of living here, but you deal with it, right? And then I have this little pouch for carrying your umbrella in if it got wet so that it doesn't make your entire bag wet. Then I have some tissues because it is in fact winter, so we'll probably need those. And then lastly, my keys with a little Black Panther keychain and a Scarlet Witch one, which will easily attach to the key leash that's on this bag, which is one of my favorite aspects because then you always know where your keys are. The last thing I'm going to put in my bag is this little blank notebook that I've never used before because you never know when you need to write something. This one is just so pretty, blue, glittery, and Yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory, I guess. That's what's in my bag. That's everything done that I wanted to do right now. Some other things I have to do today are taking a bath, washing my hair, blow drying my hair, maybe going to the store to get like bread and, stuff to eat tomorrow, and maybe something for breakfast. And then I also want to already pick out my outfit for tomorrow so I don't have to worry about it in the morning, and I will also show you guys. And then I obviously also have to like eat and chill and do a little bit of brain rotting before I go to bed tonight. And before I go to bed, I will always read. That's like my little wind down routine. I know that it always helps me fall asleep because I'm just not an easy sleeper. I don't fall asleep easily, especially not now that I've been like going to bed at 4:30 every night for about 2 years, and now I suddenly have to go to bed at like 12 to wake up at 7. So that's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, but one that I'll happily make for the job that I want to do so badly. So it's just gonna be a little bit bitter in the beginning, but after a week I'll be fully acclimatized and that should be fine. Even for a job that I love, I still don't love waking up early. But this is just how society works, it's how the cookie crumbles, it's a necessary evil, and you just have to learn to deal with that, sadly, because society is not advanced enough to let people choose their own hours, which I totally get because practically it's a little difficult, but it would make me happier. But whatever. That's a rant for another day. Anyway, I'll see you guys later when I'm picking out my outfit for tomorrow. I'm back and I've done everything I need to do before tomorrow, but the only thing that I still have to do is pick out my outfit. So my idea was this sweater, like a green woolen sweater that's not like super long. It's not cropped, but it's also like not super long. And I feel like it's pretty neutral besides that there's text on it, but it doesn't really say anything, so I like that. But I want to layer it with this white shirt underneath it because that just always gives it like a little bit more of an elevated look. Like I put some more thought into it and not just like thrown on a sweater. So I feel like that's what I'm gonna do, and then just like some regular jeans underneath it. And then I also have some like green shoes that I think I'm gonna wear. I think that's gonna eat. Yeah, this shirt looks very white now because of like the artificial lighting, but in real life it's like a little bit more muted, so if it was actually this white it would look a little crazy underneath the sweater, I think, but I think we should be fine. So I'm just gonna wear these jeans underneath that are like one of my favorite pairs. So these are the shoes, they're Fenty x Puma, so Rihanna's collab with Puma. And I just feel like the green is really gonna tie everything together. And these are also super comfortable, not that it really matters if I'm gonna be working all day, but if I do have to walk, then I'll be fine. And they just feel like very new, which is very nice for like a new start, a new pair of shoes. That makes sense to me, right? I think so. Now that the outfit is picked, that's all I had to do for today, and I'm just gonna go and watch some more YouTube shows and read my book and then go to bed, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey again, it's Monday morning now, and I've already had breakfast and brushed my teeth and all that, and put on my clothes, and now I just need to do my makeup before I need to head out. My bus is at like 7:52, and currently it's like 7:10. So like I'm in a little bit of a rush, but like I'm okay. I'm mostly worried about like just having to catch my bus, because like I'm certain it will come, but sometimes you just never really know. And the fact that like me being on time is depending on one single bus is kind of scary to me because it's like out of my control. And I hate things being out of my control. So, we'll see where that goes. But for now, I'm just gonna do my best to get ready as fast as possible. I'm not doing a very like intricate look or anything today. I'm just doing like basic makeup, just like blush, bronzer, mascara, eyebrow gel, that whole thing. I'm basically doing a full face besides, eyeshadow. So that's my basic face. I didn't really sleep that well, but I kind of expected that was going to happen because my rhythm has just been very different than the one I need to have right now. So I already knew that the first night I probably wasn't gonna get a lot of sleep, if any. But tonight should be better because like now I'll have woken up early and then I'll have to like survive the whole day and I will be tired in the evening. And I will sleep wonderful tonight. And I don't feel super tired right now, even though I didn't sleep that great. I think it's probably because of the adrenaline and like the excitement of it all that it's kind of like making me feel a little bit more energized. I didn't even have any coffee yet because I'm only gonna do that at work. So this is just my natural energy. Yes. It's also been like raining all night and like very strong winds as well. So I feel like I should probably wear a good coat today because most of my coats don't have like hoods, which is not ideal. I feel like another part of the reason that I didn't sleep that well is because I was just worried the entire night that my alarm wasn't gonna go off. I've never really had an issue with my iPhone alarm not going off, but then recently I saw some TikToks about so many people being like, yeah, this happens so often that Apple alarms just don't go off. And it just kind of unlocks a new insecurity that I didn't have prior to seeing that TikTok, which I'm not very grateful for. But my alarm did go off. It was like a weird thing happened though, because like at 4 a.m., I like kind of woke up from whatever lousy sleep I was in and I checked my phone and like it looked like it had restarted or something because they asked me to give in like my PIN code for my SIM card. But sometimes it just kind of like ejects it as well. So I don't know about that, but strange. I didn't wear makeup on my last interview because I had really slept horribly that night and the weather was horrible. There was like a snowstorm going on outside. So I was like, never mind. But I'm doing it today because otherwise people are going to think that I'm sick. But I think it's also good that I didn't do it during my last interview because they don't set the bars too high then, you know? It's also the fact that I'm doing my makeup when it's completely dark outside, and this will probably look horrible in natural lighting, but that's for future Kenna to worry about. I obviously also still have to brush my hair, but I pinned it back while doing my makeup, just in case you were worried if I was gonna go out looking like this. Lately, I've been so happy whenever I finish a product entirely because I didn't used to for like many years because I had this obsession where I wanted to keep all of my makeup products in pristine condition and never use them, which was kind of stupid because like, what's the point? But now I've just like decluttered a lot and I've started like sizing down makeup collection so much and I feel so much better about it because now I know that all the things that I have, I would actually use. And then when I do actually finish something, I'm like, wow, I really love that product and I get to buy it again if I want to, which is a very great mentality to have, I think. Okay, gotta focus for a second. Now I just need to brush my hair and fix my mascara up a little bit with a Q-tip and then I'm done. I always used to air dry my hair, but the last 2 times I've actually used a hairdryer and I feel like it does help make my hair less frizzy and tangly. I don't know how that works because I always thought air drying was the best for me, but you know, sometimes I'm wrong. Okay, I'm all done. This is how I'm going to work today. I will show you guys the outfit later, like the full outfit, because I'm in a little bit of a rush and I don't want to be setting up the tripod and all of that. But when I get back, I will show you. But this is the top, as you can see, which I feel is very like preppy, like business chic, business casual. I don't even know what to call it, but you know, it's me. Like it's like streety modern, but also like a little bit sophisticated, you know? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go put on my shoes and jacket and I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna see you guys later. I just got back home after my first work day. It's about 7 p.m. right now. I've already had dinner and I just talked to my parents about how my first day was, obviously, and to some of my friends online. But I think I was home at around like 6:30 p.m. So I started at 8:45 a.m. and then I worked until like 5:30, like a quarter past 5, approximately that. So it was actually a very intense first day, not necessarily in a bad way, but I was just kind of like bombarded with new information and new people, and most of the day was just spent like listening to information or reading information, also like setting up accounts, like the laptop, the work email, like all of that takes up a lot of time as well. So, you know, it was definitely a lot, especially considering the fact that I didn't really sleep for a long time or at all. So I really had to keep my mind like focused on it because like reading a bunch of like new information when you're kind of tired is not necessarily the most activating thing to do. But this would be the case with any job. Like obviously you always have to listen a lot and read a lot to kind of like get the main frameworks before you actually do anything, because I couldn't really be doing my job yet because I need to know what to do first, right? The only thing that was a little bit scary to me is the fact that, so my position, there's 2 of them, 2 of those positions in the organization, but the person whose job I'm taking, so the person that's leaving, as to why I got this job, she's already leaving on Friday. So there's like not a lot of time for knowledge transfer between us. And then the other person who's also doing the same job as me is going on maternity leave in February, which is in a month. So in February, I will have to do that job by myself. And I don't know if I will be ready for that in only a month. Like there's only so much one can learn in a month. And this is quite complex as well. So I hope that I will be guided sufficiently and that I will feel confident enough to be able to do that. But that was something that gave me a lot of stress today, but you know, I know that's valid. I know many people feel very like unknowing and incompetent on their first day, and that's just a part of the process, and I hope not to feel that way soon. But I'm very excited about learning. I'm very excited about doing new things, meeting new people. Everyone was super nice. I felt very welcome there. I felt very at home. So there's not a lot better that I could have asked for. Like I couldn't have asked for a better vibe or anything. It's just, you know, a new job is always a bit tricky in the beginning, and I just have to deal with that. You know, you have to get through it, but I will, because there is only do, there is no try. Do or do not, there is no try. And that's what Master Yoda said, because I'm a geek and I love Star Wars. Anyway, like I said, I already had my dinner and I made my lunch for tomorrow as well. So all that's left to do for me is to like take off my makeup, get into my PJs, and just bed rot a little for like 3 hours, and then once again read and go to bed. I'm not gonna vlog the entirety of my day tomorrow because it will just be like the same thing that I did today, but I will film after I get back from work and see like what the vibe is after my second day of work, and like after my third day of work, and after a week, because I think those are like fun things to talk about, how I feel throughout the week and if I get better or worse, and how my days have, you know, varied in this specific job. Because Wednesday I actually have to go to Brussels instead of Antwerp for like meeting with all of the different people that do this job throughout the entire country, which is interesting. But then I have to go to Brussels for that for like half a day, or like majority of a day. Then I have to go back to Antwerp for a meeting for 2 hours, and I will only finish work at 8 p.m., which is kind of intense, but whatever, I'll just do it. I love a little change of routine here and there because routine can get quite boring, but yeah, it's definitely something new, but that's fine. So I will see you guys when I see you, and yeah. Okay, so it's actually Friday right now. I wanted to check in like on Wednesday, but I've just been so busy, and this has been like a particularly late week of like me just getting home from work late and then having to leave early again. And I don't want to say I didn't have time to record, because there's always time, but I was just a little bit like overwhelmed, and you know, I just wanted to have some like wind down time and like watch a show and take a bath and stuff like that instead of like filming. But you know, this is my first week at my job. This is the first time like I'm trying to vlog a work week, so I still have to kind of like find my way in that. But yeah, let me just do a quick little rundown of the week. So I did last update on Monday. I'm just taking off my makeup, by the way. So I updated on Monday, and then on Tuesday it was like a relatively normal day, I guess. But I also stayed a bit later, so I didn't catch my like regular train back to home. And then I also had some problems with the train. That's why I was also home even later, because I couldn't take the second train even, because there was like some delays and I missed my train and all of that. And then on Wednesday I had to go to Brussels for like a countrywide meeting with all of the other people that do my job in the country. So like from the different provinces, we kind of have like a monthly meeting to kind of like discuss what's going on in our respective provinces. And since that's also like pretty far from me, I was also home very late, and I also had a meeting that day from 8 to 10. So no, not from 8 to 10, from 6 to 8. I'm so sorry. Either way, I was home at around like 9:30. So that was pretty late to then have to leave again at like 8. So it's just been a very intense first week. It's all been very interesting. Like everything that I've kind of like had to deal with, or like that I kind of had to study up on, was definitely right up my alley, given like my interest in like organizational psychology and like diversity and inclusion and well-being and reintegration and all that. And it's just very, very interesting, and I'm very happy that I found this job. But it's just a little bit hectic because the person who I'm replacing is already leaving today. Like this was her last day today, so there was only like a week of time to kind of like transfer all her knowledge over to me. And I've just been kind of like spiraling over that, like wondering if I will ever be able to learn enough before both of my colleagues are gone because my other colleague is pregnant right now, so she's leaving in February, and then I will only have worked there for a month, and I will have to do everything by myself, which is kind of scary, but I guess it's a challenge. So yeah, I think it's normal that these first few weeks are a bit more hectic because you still have to like learn, and you can't really do like your regular job because it isn't quite there yet. Like you don't really know what your tasks are gonna be. You can't really plan them for yourself. But everyone is super, super nice. I feel so welcomed. Everyone's just so like my vibe. Sometimes certain companies have like a very toxic work culture, or like, you know, there's not really a lot of care around how employees interact with each other, but here it's the complete opposite. Like everyone is so like nice and so like supportive and just welcoming, open. Like it's just a very nice vibe, and I didn't really experience that before. Like my internship was a bit like that, but there were still some aspects where I was like, oh, okay. So I'm, you know, very, very pleased that I finally found the job and that it's this specific job. I'm very happy with that. It's just a little bit of a learning process, and kind of starting to feel competent in what I have to do, which is not quite there yet. But I guess that's normal. It's only been 5 days, right? And today I actually only had half a day. Like on Fridays, we only have to work for half a day. So that's pretty chill as well. Like if you want to go have lunch with your friends on a Friday, or if you want to go, I don't know, to a doctor or a hairdresser, you can always do that like on Friday, because sometimes as someone who works 9 to 5, it's very hard to go to like medical appointments or stuff like that because they also have like business hours. So if you work during business hours, it's hard to plan stuff like that. But so that's actually a good benefit. But this weekend, I'm really not gonna do too much. Like I need some time to like process everything and kind of like calm myself down, because it was just like a lot of information overload, and I feel very like fried in a way. And I feel like if I'm gonna fill up my weekend a lot more, then I won't have, you know, recovered until I have to go back. But I'm going to my grandma on Sunday. It's kind of like an obligation. And then on Saturday, I was invited for a birthday party, but I just can't do it right now because my mom's car broke down. And usually I would take my mom's car to go to that friend's house. But since I can't, I would have to take like a lot of public transport. And I've just been all over the place this week, like Brussels, missing trains, delays, and I just can't deal with that during the weekend as well. At least not tomorrow. So I'm just gonna let her know that I mentally won't be able to attend, but that I appreciate the invitation and I hope she will understand. But that's kind of like what I foresee for my week and for my weekend. And then, well, I'm looking so horrible in sliding. I'm kind of like reacting to the makeup remover. This one is actually one that doesn't really irritate my eyes, but it does make my skin flare up temporarily, but it doesn't burn or anything. It just looks a little crazy. It does look a little crazy. Anyway, sensitive. 0% perfume, alcohol, or coloring. Well, then what are you doing? I am very proud of the fact that I managed to wear makeup every single day this week. And it's not like I need makeup, but I just know that I feel more confident at work if I'm wearing like minimal makeup, because I just feel more put together, which in turn makes me feel like more productive and, you know, more sure about myself. And usually if I have to wake up early every single day, I will quickly start telling myself like, you know what, girl, get those extra 20 minutes. You don't need makeup. And then I'll just feel bad the entire day. So I'm glad that I was able to stick with it for an entire week. And I'm sure I will be able to continue doing that because I just feel so good with myself. And that's okay. Anyways, it's a bit of a weird moment to end this video considering the way I look right now. Like, oh my freaking god, what has this makeup remover done to my skin? But that aside, if you watched this video to the end, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm very sorry that I wasn't able to do a check-in every single day or do some more like on the road footage. I will try to do that as soon as I've gotten a little bit more, you know, comfortable in my routine. But this week has just been very unexpected, like all of it. And that's okay, but I just need some time to get comfortable, and then I will hopefully be making better content. But if you did like this video, then make sure to like it and to subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, and I hope I will see you again in a future video. Bye!